The Street That Wasn't There by Bigwoohorror. It was just a normal Friday. Nothing special. I was standing outside work with my buddy Jay, the way we always did before heading home. We'd known each other for years, always joked around, always found a reason to grab a beer or watch a game. And that day was no different. Same spot tonight, he asked, patting me on the shoulder. Yeah, my place. Kickoff's at 8, man, so don't be late. He grinned. Told me he'd bring snacks, and we split off into our cars. I didn't even think twice. But that night, Jay never showed. At first, I figured he bailed or got caught up with family. I tried calling, but the phone didn't even ring. Straight to voicemail. I sent a couple of texts, but nothing ever came back. By Saturday, I was a little annoyed, I gotta admit. Enough to drive over to his house. His car was in the driveway, but no one ever answered the door. Curtains drawn, lights off, almost like no one had been there for days. By Monday, we didn't see Jay at work, and I was beginning to get a little worried. But by Wednesday, when his family called HR to ask if we had seen him, everyone was worried. Friends, co-workers, his girlfriend. No one had heard from him. No one. No social media, no activity on his accounts. It's like he just vanished. The police started an investigation. Posters went up, calls for information spread. But as days passed and weeks turned to months, nothing ever came up. It was almost like my friend Jay had been erased. I tried to move on, but it stuck with me. Every day on my drive home, I just thought about how ordinary that Friday had been. How I watched him walk to his car and never once imagined that it would be the last time. That's why the night it happened to me, I recognized the wrongness right away. It was late, maybe closer to 10, and I was tired. And I take the same route I always did. When I saw the street I never noticed before, it was a narrow lane tucked between two familiar intersections. The thing about it was I drive this way every single day, and I swear it hadn't been there before. If it was, then it couldn't have been. There's no way I missed that. The pavement looked fresh, freshly blacktopped. I mean, even the yellow lines were crisp and glowing under my headlights. Branches nodding into a tunnel. I slowed down and blinked and tried to convince myself I just never paid attention before. I had to be the only logical explanation. But curiosity kind of got the best of me, and I turned out anyway. I mean, if this road really had been there this whole time, I had to check it out. However, the houses on either side looked wrong. They seemed to be a little too close to the road. The windows were dark, curtains pulled tight, and the ones that did have lights on, it was just a faint gleam behind them, like a candle struggling to stay lit. And then I noticed the mailboxes. More say the address. Every single one was the same. 0. And that's when my car sputtered. The dashboard lights flickered. My foot pressed harder on the gas, but the engine whined and coughed, dragging slower and slower until I was pretty much crawling. But in the edge of my headlights, I saw something move. A figure. And then another. Shapes began lingering near the houses, tall and thin, shoulders hunched, faces swallowed in shadow. And that's when one of them started toward the road. I panicked and slammed my foot on the pedal and just tried my best to get that bitch to get up and get going again. I was pumping the pedal, slamming the wheel. The car groaned, and thank God, suddenly, as if some invisible hand had let go of it, the engine roared back to life, and I flew out of that road, eyes locked, refusing to look at the figures closing in. And then, just like that, I was back on my normal route. My heart was hammering. I pulled into my driveway, killed the engine, and sat there in silence. My hands shook on the wheel, and I told myself I had imagined it. It had been a long day. I was exhausted. I must have just took the wrong turn. And that's when my phone buzzed. A text. A text from Jay. It said, "Help me." My breath caught. My thumb trembled as I hit call, but the number didn't connect. Just static. I tried again and again, but nothing. I barely slept that night, just replaying the entire day over and over again. The next day at work, I still couldn't shake the feeling out of my head. The street, the shadows, the number 0, Jay's voice on voicemail from months ago, his face on the missing poster. By the time I was driving home, I already knew the road was waiting for me. My usual turn was gone. Orange cones blocked the familiar way, though they hadn't been there this morning. No detours, no signs, just that damn street, yawning open like a throat. I didn't have a choice. The trees loomed higher this time, and the houses leaned closer. Shadows swayed in the dim light, and my phone buzzed so violently it almost leapt out the cup holder. But I didn't dare look. And then I heard it. A sound under the engine. Not footsteps, not breathing. Fighting. Shapes surged in the road ahead, colliding, clawing, tearing each other apart. They weren't fist fighting. They were ripping each other apart like wild animals, biting, scratching, gouging, throwing one another to the pavement. And then that's what I noticed. Every single one of them was fighting to get closer to me. I wasn't gonna let that shit happen. I floored it, but of course the damn car screamed and refused to move. The steering wheel locked in place. My headlights blinked in and out, showing flashes of arms being ripped off, teeth sinking into flesh that dissolved into smoke. I didn't know what to do. I had only one choice, so I bolted. I threw that door open and ran. I ran into one of the closest houses, slamming the door behind me. But then there was silence that followed. No footsteps chasing me, no fists pounding on the door, just silence. I crept to the window, thinking maybe I was just imagining things, and pulled the curtain back with trembling fingers. And shadows were still out there, tearing each other apart, shrieking in inhuman voices, pieces of them just scattered across the pavement. I gagged, pulled away, and pressed my back to the wall. And that's when my phone rang. It was Jay. I answered as fast as I could, voice breaking. Jay, where are you? What is this? His voice came low, broken, and trembling with guilt. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry, but I had no choice. Before I could speak, the call cut. Through the window, I watched one of the figures slip into my car. The engine roared to life, and the headlights swung away as it drove into the distance, until it disappeared. That, unfortunately, was months ago. Time doesn't work here the way it should. I'm never hungry, never thirsty. I've grown weaker. My skin is paler and my hands shake. My voice barely works, and I honestly can say that I don't hate Jay anymore. I can't even blame him. This place forces your hand, and there's only one way out. Someone has to take your spot. I let out a sigh as I gripped the knife tighter in my hand. My other hand clutches the instructions I've written down. Directions, warnings, my apology. I whisper to myself over and over again, "You're a good person. You're a good person. It's the only way out. You're a good person. You're a good person. It's the only way out. You're a good person. You can do this. It's the only way out." I lay the paper and an extra knife on the end table by the door and take a deep breath. I see the car. Not my car, but a car. It's coming down our road. As the car stalled, I swing the door open and sprint into the street, slashing through shadows, carving a path toward the lights, because I won't let anyone else take my damn chance out of this hell.